Hello everyone, and welcome to week 6 of English 120. This week you'll be reading an essay by Jack London called The Story of an Eyewitness, which is found in the Portable Jack London, pages 46 to 491. You'll participate in a discussion about that text. You'll also learn about your research project, and your journal entry will be on possible research topics. And finally, by later this week, you will receive your paper graded, and you will be asked to revise that paper by the end of week 7. Details will follow later in the week. These are images of the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. It was a devastating earthquake, and when Jack and Charmian London experienced the earthquake in 1906, they were in Glen Ellen. And they went to the top of Sonoma Mountain and looked out. First, they saw Santa Rosa completely destroyed. Then they looked out and saw San Francisco burning. And they decided right there that they needed to record the information, that it was an important human event that they needed to capture. So Jack London reached out. He sent a wire to Collier's and said he would report on the story. He got 10 cents a word for this particular story. He and Charmian headed down the hill to Santa Rosa first, and they saw the devastation. Then they went to San Francisco and spent 3 days looking at the devastation. Jack London took a number of photographs. He also Charmian also wrote about the event in her diary, and she provides an account of the event in her biography of Jack London called The Book of Jack London. The devastation was tremendous. Most of San Francisco was destroyed not only by the earthquake but also by the fires that happened afterwards, and refugee camps were set up at the Presidio for the survivors. For your Week 6 critical discussion, please actively read The Story of an Eyewitness by Jack London. Then look up the San Francisco earthquake of 1906 in the World Book Encyclopedia database available on our Napa Valley College website, library website. Please do look at this article. Then use evidence from this essay and What Life Means to Me and the World Book Encyclopedia article to answer the following questions as part of this discussion. Why do you think Jack and Charmian London left Glen Ellen to go to San Francisco after the earthquake? What did they find there when they arrived? Why does Jack London feel the number of victims from the 1906 earthquake will never be known? How did he feel the citizens of San Francisco behaved in the days after the earthquake? Why did he think they behaved in this way? Using your own experience, do you think this is a typical post-disaster behavior? Why or why not? Why did London think that San Francisco looked like the end of the world? What striking images does he use throughout his essay to convey this information? Next, let's talk a little bit about your next essays. You will be revising Essay 1. More details about that will follow later this week. But your next essay will be your research prospectus. This will be an outline of, not just an outline, it'll be a document that talks about how you will research a particular topic in this course. Then you'll write an outline and provide several sources, and then you'll begin writing your research essay. There'll be a first draft, a peer review, a self-review, and then a final second draft. You're welcome to choose any of the following topics for your research paper. The final research paper will be a paper that is 8 to 10 pages long and that explores one of these topics using academic sources, at least 6 academic sources. Now you have from now until the end of the semester to work on this, but like I said on the last slide, there's a lot of steps before you get to that point. Here are some possible topics. Jack London's biography, the disputes that there are over his death, his father, etc., his alcoholism. Jack London's writing, such as writing for the working class versus the upper class, or any of the topics that Professor Tichy brought up in her video. Jack London's Many Homes, Jack London State Historic Park in Glen Ellyn, Charmian London, Prize Fighting, Sweatshops, Child Labor, the Role of Women in the Early 1900s, Women in the Workplace in the Early 1900s, Naturalism, the 1906 San Francisco Earthquake, Socialism, Capitalism, Strikes and Unions and Riots, the Klondike Yukon Gold Rush, Wilderness Survival, Kelly's Army, hoboing in the early 1900s, the working class in the early 1900s versus now, Jack London's nonfiction writing, the political scene in the early 1900s versus now, other topics you've come across during this class so far. Please email me to get your topics approved. Then for your research journal this week, I'd like you to free write about at least 3 different possible topics found on the list on the previous slide. Please make these free writes serious and use the time to really help yourself find a conversation you would like to join. You need to write at least 250 words for each of these free writes. As you've seen, some of you have turned in when we did free writing before. Some of your free writes were a bit brief. Make sure you give yourself 10 to 15 minutes per topic. Alright guys, that's it for this week. As always, please let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to seeing you online.